To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen, available exclusively on odds.com. The Indianapolis Colts, 11-5, 5-3 on the road at the Buffalo Bills, 13-3, 7-1 at home. Bill Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, 28 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 9 miles per hour, as it's been all season long. The weather is not affecting these games. We've had great weather throughout the year. Robert Allen in the house. JW says, I like the Colts. JT giving us a final score of 28-24. There is Dennis Garcia joining us as well. The Bills open up as 7-point favorites. You can still get them at some books at 7, but most have moved to 6.5. This total opened up at 52. It is now at 51. Let's start with the Colts. I'll talk a little bit about the Colts. I'll hand it over to Bebsie. We'll move on to the Bills. Then we will see if decisions will be made. Colts are coming off 28-14 win over Jacksonville week 17. The game was sort of in doubt until later in the game. It wasn't a dominant performance by any means. Jonathan Taylor did have a dominant performance, so he rushed for 253 yards in the victory. He ran for 1,169 yards, 11 TDs on the season. Over the last 6 games, he's averaging 86.3 yards rushing, 4.4 yards per carry, and has scored 8 TDs. Bebsy, you went 9-8. One of your victories was a Jonathan Taylor over prop. He is listed as questionable with the shoulder injury. I think that's just because he didn't practice today. Everybody expects him to play. Over their last 5 games, the Colts averaged 169.3 yards per game on the ground. Phillip Rivers had a much stronger year than I expected. 68% completion rate, 4,169 yards, 24 TDs, 11 interceptions. He is dealing with a toe injury. He also didn't practice today. He's listed as questionable. He will play on Sunday. T.Y. Hilton came on late in the season. Overall, he caught 56 passes for 762 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Colts are a balanced team. They rank 10th in yards gained. A defense allows 8th fewest yards. Their run defense is second in the league, allowing 90.5 yards per game. Darius Leonard was excellent as always with 132 tackles, 3 sacks. DeForest Buckner, Danico Autry combined for 17 sacks. Buckner is banged up. He's listed as questionable. He's expected to play. Buffalo is so dangerous through the air. And this is why I have not pulled the trigger on the Colts yet. And probably why I won't. Colts defense, 20th in the league, pass defense. But since week 11, they are 31st in the NFL in their pass defense. Jared Veldheer continues to fill in for injured Anthony Costanzo at left tackle. Reich is hoping starting safety Kari Willis and starting cornerback Rocky Sin will clear the concussion protocol this week. They expected that. Running back Jordan Wilkins went on the reserve COVID list. Cornerback TJ Carey's listed as questionable. JT says, I think this line should be Bills -4, Bills -5. Dennis Garcia is on Indy +7. Mike Smith is on Bills first half, end game, and the over. He's the first guy to come out and say, I'm backing these Bills. Because a lot of people like the Colts here at the plus points. Bebsy, what do you think about these Indianapolis Colts, and can they play spoiler?
I think it's very much within the realm of reality that they could. They are built for the playoffs. Anytime you have a team with a really strong defense and a good running game, I figure that is grounds for being built for the playoffs, especially the way they've come on in the run game as of late. Finally really riding Jonathan Taylor. They weren't early in the year. They were riding their run game, but less so with JT. He's been killing it. My biggest question mark with them is Phillip Rivers. And it's not just because Phillip Rivers is old. It's not just because Phillip Rivers is playing in the cold. It's because Phillip Rivers in the playoffs throughout his entire career has been a bit of a dud. So my question really in this game has more to do with how well are they going to game plan around Phillip Rivers. They have to make sure that he's not doing much. If they stop the run and the onus is on Phillip Rivers to really go for it, I don't have any trust in it.
I agree.
It's very, very hard to back Indy with him at the helm, especially with the way Buffalo's been playing lately. And the sad thing is that these two teams are meeting in the first round is because I think both of these teams pose the best threat against the Chiefs right now. And again, it has everything to do with their defensive abilities and the fact that Buffalo less so in the run game, Indy more in the run game, but I think Indy is built to do some damage. I just have hangups about Phillip Rivers.
I hear you. I think if the Bills get past the Colts, that game against the Chiefs is capable of being a classic, and the Bills are capable of surprising. But I like the Ravens to roll through the Titans, then roll through the Steelers, and play in the conference final. And I think there's a ton of value on them. And we'll get to that. WTF says Indy money line for me. Before we start hammering out the Buffalo Bills, a question here from our man David Sharp. He says, what's your opinion on Taylor props this week? I'm thinking smash button.
I mean, obviously you've got to see them come out, and I do think they will ride him, but if it's too high, I'm going to stay away from it, because if the Bills are smart, they will stack the box and force Rivers to throw, which I think he's capable of, but only in that short area attack game. And you're really facing a stout defense, and one that is good at taking away. Incredibly talented linebackers for Buffalo. Indy is a team that is built for the playoffs, but this is a really tough first week, especially playing in Buffalo. I get a lot of people in the chat mentioning Frank Reich going back to Buffalo. Is it a factor? Isn't it a factor? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how much stock I'm going to put into that. It's not like I don't know. I don't see that being a huge factor. If you do, great.
Bills team totals at 29.5. I'm with JT. I have a lean towards the over. Phillip Rivers playing outside in the cold is enough for me to maybe just take the Bills team total over. Let's talk about these Bills here. What a season. They tied their franchise record, 13-3 season. They've won 6 in a row for the first time since 2004, and that could easily be 10 in a row had the Hail Murray not have happened. They're the first team to close a season winning 3 straight by 25 points or more since the 1996 Green Bay Packers, who went on to win the Super Bowl. Buffalo joined the 2012 Patriots in becoming just the second time since 1991 to top 20 first downs in each of their 16 regular season games. Buffalo broke their franchise record with 501 points. Now, they haven't won a postseason game since 1995. Third longest active drought in the NFL. They put a giant exclamation point on the season in a 56-26 beatdown of the Dolphins. Bills starters played the entire first half and were up 28-6 at the break. Josh Allen was excellent this season, 69.2%. 4,544 yards, 37 TDs, 10 interceptions. He also ran for 421 yards and 8 touchdowns. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs became Buffalo's first player to lead the NFL in catches and yards receiving. He's listed as questionable to go. Became Buffalo's first player. I hope I said that right. Became Buffalo's first player to lead the NFL in catches and yards receiving. Is expected to play. He's expected to play. Cole Beasley missed week 17 with a knee injury. He did not practice Tuesday or today. Wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie did a nice job replacing him. He got 6 passes for 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, returned a punt, 84 yards for a touchdown. He's listed as questionable with an ankle injury, but he is expected to play. Devin Singletary rushed for 687 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zach Moss ran for 481 yards, 4 touchdowns. Singletary fumbled once all year. Moss didn't fumble. Bills defense had 11 players with multiple sacks, led by Mario Addison, defensive end, and linebacker A.J. Klein with 5 each. It's cornerbacks Saran Neal, tight end Reggie Gilliam are listed as questionable, but this is a healthy team other than Cole Beasley being out. So, decision time. Talk to me about how dangerous this Bill squad is, and what do you plan to do gambling-wise in this game?
Well, I mean, this it's no secret that the Bills team is dangerous. Stephon Diggs all season long has added a total different element to this team that we haven't seen in the past. He's opened this up. He's given Allen a true number 1 target. The Beasley injury is concerning. I believe he will play. I just think the Bills have had a good defense for, in recent years. They snuck into the playoffs a little while ago and they were out right away. I just think that the Bills are ready. The problem is this is an extremely tough matchup. And I'm kind of with Dennis Garcia on this in that I don't trust Rivers. I just think 7 is too many. So I'm certainly leaning towards taking the points with Indy, but I believe the Bills win this game.
And what do you think of this total that's sitting at 51? It opened at 52.
Well, I'm with you on that one, Jimmy. I do feel like this winds up being over in spite of how good both of these defenses are and the fact that they will be playing in Buffalo. I don't know what the weather is going to be like. I assume it's pretty cold, but not freezing.
It's actually quite cold, 28 Fahrenheit.
I don't know what that means in Canada.
But there's very little wind, and it's a beautiful sunny day. Mike Smith says this Buffalo team can beat KC.
I agree with Mike, and I really think the only two teams in the AFC that are capable of beating Indy are playing each other this weekend. I think Buffalo and Indy are both built to do some damage.
Well, I'm going to make a move here. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. I hate the minus 125 juice. Hate it. Enough to make me not make the move. I can cheat the team total to 31.5 at plus 125. Might be a better spot, but I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills team total over 29.5. Buffalo Bills team total over 29.5 at minus 125. Are you making any moves here, Bebsie?
I'm scared, Jimmy. I'm scared.
Birdie says, I will argue the theory on the other side to the under. Two quarterbacks who struggle in big moments. I see them being protected, and I see run games being prevalent. I hear you, but we do need to see what Allen does in this kind of a situation. Nick B says I'm laying -9 and counting my money.
We've also seen Allen step up in primetime as of late. Now, I realize the playoffs are different, so I agree and I don't agree at the same time. This is a tough call. I really want to take Indy with the points. I believe Buffalo wins, Indy covers. I really do. I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I really like both. To be honest with you, I think I want to back whoever wins this game right to the end.
Okay, so I'm on the Bills team total over 29.5. I think they put up points. Gas Station Sushi joining us. Great to see you, Gas. That is your AFC Wildcard Indianapolis Colts at Buffalo Bills breakdown. And we have no move from Bebsie. Is there going to be any props that you'll be looking out for?
Yeah, well, I'm with David Sharp. I'm going to be obviously looking at that JT run prop. I'll be interested. The Devin Singletary props always wind up being very low because he splits, but I think with the spotlight on, they've gone to Singletary more because he's been a bit more reliable. So if that prop comes in low, which I believe it will, I'm going to hammer it.
And Josh Allen, I'd be curious to see what his passing yards prop is, because we stated the most important stat in this game for me is the fact that the Colts pass defense is 31st in the league since week 11. Okay, so no move for Bebsie. I'm on the team total over for the Bills. Again, David Sharp saying, why not just take the over 31.5? Get that at plus 125. So I have a decision to make there. I mean, it feels like selling 2 points for 50 cents is a move that makes a lot of sense.